In life, we all encounter pain and suffering at various points in our journey. It's an unavoidable part of the human experience, a shared thread that binds us together. The pain of loss, the anguish of illness, the sting of rejection, the weight of uncertainty, and the bitter taste of failure. These are facets of life that no one willingly embraces. Yet, as much as we may wish to avoid them, they are integral to our existence. In this video, we will present you 10 powerful lessons to help you navigate pain and suffering. Let's dive right into it. Lesson number 1. Distinguish between control and the uncontrollable. In the foundational teachings of Stoicism, a clear distinction is drawn between what falls under our control and what remains beyond our reach. This fundamental concept, known as the dichotomy of control, serves as the bedrock of the Stoic approach to life. Epictetus, one of the prominent Stoic philosophers, articulated this principle eloquently when he said, "Don't seek that all that comes about should come about as you wish, but wish that everything that comes about should come about just as it does, and then you will have a calm and happy life." This sentiment would later echo in the famous Serenity Prayer, often associated with recovery programs like Alcoholics Anonymous. The essence of the dichotomy of control lies in recognizing that there are aspects of life we can influence, our thoughts, actions, and judgments, and there are facets beyond our control, including external events, the actions of others, and the whims of fate. This lesson urges us to engage in introspection and discernment. We must ask ourselves, which aspects of pain, suffering, or illness are within our control, and which are not? By embracing this division, we can liberate ourselves from the shackles of anxiety and frustration that stem from attempting to control the uncontrollable. Lesson number 2. Separate value judgments from feelings. As we navigate the turbulent waters of pain and suffering, the Stoics offer a profound insight: the distinction between our feelings and the value judgments we attach to them. Imagine the pain of loss, the anguish of illness, the fear of rejection, the burden of uncertainty, or the sting of failure. These emotions are undoubtedly unpleasant, and no one would willingly embrace them. However, the Stoics teach us that it's not the emotions themselves that determine our character or worth. Instead, it's how we respond to them that truly matters. The Stoic perspective is encapsulated in the words of Marcus Aurelius. In all the events that may happen to us in life, it is not the events themselves that trouble us, but our judgments about them. In essence, the pain, suffering, and illness we encounter cannot make us better or worse individuals. They are neutral in that regard. What defines our character is our response to these challenges. Do we succumb to negative thoughts and allow ourselves to be consumed by anguish and despair? Or do we confront these trials with resilience, dignity, and wisdom, by understanding that our value as individuals is not determined by the mere presence of pain and suffering, but by the quality of our response to them? We gain a powerful tool for navigating life's hardships. Lesson number 3. The consequences of acceptance. When we find ourselves in the throes of pain and suffering, two alternatives lie before us: resistance and acceptance. The Stoics emphasize the significance of choosing acceptance as a healthier and more rational attitude. Consider the consequences of resistance. When we resist the pain, suffering, or illness that life presents, we intensify our emotional suffering. It's akin to trying to swim against a relentless current. The more we struggle, the more we exhaust ourselves. On the other hand, acceptance allows us to navigate these turbulent waters more smoothly. It doesn't imply passive surrender, but rather an active acknowledgement of what we cannot change. It involves recognizing that while pain and suffering are unpleasant, they are not catastrophic. The Stoic perspective encourages us to adopt the mindset that, in the words of Epictetus, we are disturbed not by events, but by the views which we take of them. Imagine the emotional burden we can lift when we choose acceptance over resistance. By reframing our relationship with pain and suffering, we strip away unnecessary layers of anguish and confront these challenges with equanimity. It's not about denying the presence of pain, but rather about choosing a more constructive response. Lesson number 4. Embrace the act of letting go. The Stoics likened life to a dog tethered to a moving car. If the dog attempts to resist and struggle against the car's relentless motion, it will be dragged along, suffering as it clings desperately to the ground. Epictetus captured this analogy beautifully when he encouraged us to make the best of what is in our power and take the rest as it occurs. In the face of pain, suffering, or illness, the Stoic advice is clear. Practice letting go of the inner struggle and actively embrace acceptance. This does not imply complacency or apathy. It signifies a profound shift in our relationship with adversity. Consider the physical or emotional discomfort that pain and suffering bring. When we resist these sensations, we amplify our own distress. However, when we accept them as natural aspects of the human experience, we cease to add unnecessary layers of suffering through negative value judgments. This practice aligns with the Stoic philosophy, as articulated by Marcus Aurelius. The mind is the ruler of the soul. It should remain unshaken by the agitations of the flesh, gentle and violent ones alike. The Stoic path encourages us to accept the discomfort, whether physical or emotional, without letting our minds become entangled in judgments of good or bad. By releasing the inner struggle, we navigate the challenges of pain and suffering with greater serenity. Lesson number 5. Coping strategies for life's trials. In the face of life's trials, our emotional distress often arises from an imbalance between our perceived ability to cope and the perceived severity of the threat we face. When we believe we lack the resources to handle a situation, our stress levels surge. The Stoics offer a valuable approach to enhance our coping mechanisms. They encourage us to ask 2 essential questions. First, what resources and virtues has nature endowed us with that can aid us in coping with life's challenges? Each of us possesses innate strengths such as resilience, courage, wisdom, and patience. These virtues serve as our inner reservoirs, empowering us to confront adversity with grace. Second, how would someone we admire cope with the same problem? By looking to those who have demonstrated strength of character in the face of adversity, we can find inspiration and guidance. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, learned from individuals like the Stoic teacher Apollonius, who embodied qualities of independence, reliability, and unswerving strength in the face of intense pain. Additionally, we can draw from our own experiences and reflect on how we have overcome similar challenges in the past. Recognizing our past victories bolsters our self-confidence and reinforces our belief in our ability to cope. Ultimately, these Stoic coping strategies serve as invaluable tools for navigating pain, suffering, and illness. By discerning what lies within our control, separating value judgments from emotions, choosing acceptance over resistance, embracing the act of letting go, and seeking inspiration from others and our own history, we equip ourselves to confront life's trials with resilience and courage. Lesson number 6. Embrace pain's limits. In the Stoic journey to handle pain and suffering, we are urged to confront a profound truth: the recognition of pain's limits. Marcus Aurelius aptly noted, "The pain is neither unbearable nor unending, as long as you keep in mind its limits and don't magnify them in your imagination." To embrace pain's limits is to acknowledge that while pain, suffering, and illness are undeniable aspects of the human experience, they are not all-consuming. They do not define the entirety of our existence, nor do they possess the power to permanently shroud our lives in darkness. The Stoics advise us to approach pain with clarity and equanimity, resisting the impulse to magnify its scope or duration in our minds. Pain often masquerades in various forms, from physical discomfort to emotional distress, but it is our perceptions and judgments that can exacerbate its intensity. Imagine viewing pain as a passing storm, powerful but temporary. This perspective allows us to weather the tempest with greater resilience. By accepting pain's limits, we free ourselves from the chains of dread and despair, understanding that it will eventually recede, making way for the return of brighter days. In essence, embracing pain's limits is an act of profound wisdom. It encourages us to confront suffering with the knowledge that it is not an all-encompassing force, but a transient aspect of our journey. This Stoic lesson empowers us to find solace in the impermanence of pain and to approach it with grace and courage. Lesson number 7. Embrace the virtues. Central to the Stoic philosophy is the pursuit of virtues as the path to a fulfilling life. To handle pain and suffering, we must cultivate virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The Stoics believed that true happiness arises from living a virtuous life. By embodying these qualities, we not only become better individuals, but also contribute to a better world. It's not merely about personal growth, it's about being a beacon of light in the lives of others. The Stoics practiced self-examination, regularly reflecting on their actions and choices. This self-awareness allowed them to align their lives with the virtues they held dear. It was a continuous journey of self-improvement, a commitment to becoming the best versions of themselves. In essence, Stoicism teaches us that the pursuit of virtues is a noble endeavor. By embracing these qualities, we find strength, purpose, and resilience in the face of suffering. When pain and suffering test our character, the virtues we have cultivated become our guiding stars. As we navigate the complexities of life, the Stoic lesson of embracing the virtues serves as a compass. It directs us toward a life filled with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. By embodying these virtues, we not only find solace in adversity, but also leave a positive mark on the world. Before we move on to number 8 on our list, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to never miss out any of our videos about Stoicism and the way you can master your life. Lesson number 8. Exercise empathy and compassion. To handle pain and suffering, the Stoics implore us to extend our compassion beyond ourselves. This lesson, rooted in the principle of cosmopolitanism, encourages us to practice empathy toward others. Stoicism teaches us that we are all interconnected, bound by the threads of humanity. By empathizing with the suffering of others, we expand our capacity for compassion, which in turn eases our own suffering. It's a profound recognition that our well-being is intimately linked to the well-being of others. The Stoics practiced philanthropy, a love for humanity. They believed that by helping others, we not only better society, but also find meaning and fulfillment in our lives. This act of extending a helping hand is not just a gift to others, but also a gift to ourselves. When we exercise empathy and compassion, we transform pain and suffering from isolating burdens into shared experiences. We become sources of solace not only for ourselves, but for the world. In our willingness to alleviate the suffering of others, we find solace in the knowledge that our actions have meaning and impact. Lesson number 9. Seek wisdom and self-improvement. In the pursuit of handling pain and suffering, The Stoics were ardent advocates of learning and wisdom. They believed that knowledge and self-improvement were potent tools for navigating life's challenges. Wisdom, according to Stoicism, is the cornerstone of a well-lived life. By seeking knowledge and self-improvement, we gain the tools to confront suffering with clarity and grace. It's the recognition that our capacity to grow and evolve is one of our most potent defenses against life's trials. The Stoics practiced journaling, a daily reflection on their thoughts and actions. This introspection allowed them to identify areas for improvement and chart their progress. It was a deliberate effort to cultivate self-awareness and to align their lives with their principles. In essence, Stoicism teaches us that wisdom is a guiding light in the darkness of suffering. By pursuing knowledge and self-improvement, we equip ourselves to face life's challenges with resilience and grace. The Stoic lesson encourages us not to stagnate, but to embrace the journey of continuous self-betterment. Lesson number 10. Embrace your mortality. One of the most profound Stoic lessons for handling pain and suffering is to confront the reality of our own mortality. The Stoics encourage us to meditate on the impermanence of our existence, a practice known as memento mori. This contemplation may seem morbid, but its purpose is to motivate us to make the most of the time we have left. The Stoics recognize that our time on earth is limited, and by acknowledging this limitation, we can find a sense of urgency to live virtuously and fully. It's a reminder that life is fragile, and each moment is a precious gift. Meditating on our mortality helps us put our pain and suffering into perspective. When faced with life's trials, we can ask ourselves, is this worth my precious time and energy? Will this matter in the grand scheme of my life? Often, this reflection allows us to discern what truly deserves our attention and what can be let go. Moreover, embracing our mortality encourages us to cherish our relationships and the moments we share with loved ones. It reminds us to express our love and gratitude while we still have the opportunity. In Stoicism, the concept of death is not viewed with dread, but as a natural part of life's cycle. By accepting our own mortality, we become better equipped to confront the pain of loss, the fear of death, and the existential suffering that often plagues us. Ultimately, the Stoic lesson of embracing mortality transforms our relationship with suffering. It shifts our focus from the ephemeral to the eternal, from the trivial to the meaningful. By keeping our mortality in mind, we navigate life's challenges with a deeper sense of purpose and perspective. It's important to remember that Stoicism is not a mere philosophy, but a way of life. These lessons offer more than intellectual insights. They provide practical tools for transforming the way we experience pain and adversity. In life, pain and suffering are not choices we make willingly, but how we respond to them is a matter of choice. Stoicism equips us with the wisdom to choose resilience over despair, courage over fear, and wisdom over ignorance. Click here to watch 10 Stoic lessons to handle disrespect. See you there in a second. Be Stoic. Stay Stoic.